Hello everyone! We are coming to you live from inside of Bat City Comic Professionals in Bradenton, Florida to help you wind down your weekend. As always, I'm your host Shannon, aka Small Press Shann, here to tell you about all of the indie and small press new releases that you're going to want to definitely run out and grab as soon as possible because they are so good. But before we can do that, if we're going to wind down our weekend, of course, we have to have new wine to do that with. And so this week we are drinking Pontificis, which is a GSM, which is, I never get it right to look. It's a Grenache Syrah Mourvedre, which is a blend of, it's like the fanciest red blend that you could possibly have imagined, from the southern France area. And this is, it says it's got black fruits and herbs and all of what does it say? It said it has spicy fruit, which I'm like, ooh, what's a spicy fruit? I don't know. We're gonna find out together. But I'm really excited because this has become one of my favorite kinds, types of wines, not like brands of wine. I've never had this brand, but it's kind of one of my favorite types of wine. And I'm really excited to see what this brand has to offer. So we're gonna check it out. It smells nice. Mm-hmm. That's very smooth. It's very delicious. I almost think it tastes plummy. Is that a spicy red fruit or a dark fruit? Is that considered a dark fruit?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like purple.
Yeah.
Because it definitely tastes very plummy.
It's thick too. It's jammier.
Mm-hmm.
More full-bodied.
Definitely a lot going on there, for sure. And yeah, it has so many layers of flavor that are but nicely succinct all at the same time, which means it's gonna open up into something, I'm sure. But it does the nice buttery tongue coat. What did you just get?
I just switched it in my mouth. That got real spicy.
Ooh.
It's really kind of nice. It also has vanilla and cherries. A lot of cherries.
Oh, I see what you mean about how it gets a spicy, Wow. But I don't know what those spices are.
Yeah.
It's different spices. It might be the herbness of it instead of just a spice. Or it's whatever the spicy red fruit is, which I still don't know what a spicy red fruit is. Or a spiced fruit. It doesn't even say that they're red. It just says that they're spicy fruits. I don't know. All I know is that, as usual, a GSM is delicious, and I can't wait to drink more. But we're going to be drinking this throughout the night as we go through and wind down our weekends. I'm going to slide this over there. Where did you get Pontificis from?
I was going to say it's about $13 at Total Wine, I believe.
Okay.
I believe.
Nice. $13 is not bad for how, that feels like you bought an expensive bottle of wine. The weight, the texture of it alone kind of feels like a more expensive bottle of wine than if you, some of the lighter weight ones do. And so for $13, that's really nice.
It doesn't have the high alcohol content
that's
a cheap wine has.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, we're going to be drinking that. And, talking about comics. Before we do, of course, since it's December, that means a lot of things are happening in a really short amount of time because we do have the holidays at the end of the month. And so this week we had a lot of really cool things that were going on here at Bad City and around town. Oh my gosh, we had so much. And I already feel like I don't remember any of it. We had Zine Night on Wednesday. We had our Fresh Start Book Club on Thursday, in which we read Revival, which was actually really good, and we will be ordering trades of that. Possibly even the compendium, mostly for myself, because that series is complete, and there is a TV show that is currently on, I believe it's Sci-Fi and Peacock, but that book was so good, and I cannot wait to read the rest of it, so we are definitely going to be getting some of those in. Really good, weird twist on a zombie kind of story. And then what else do we have? On Saturday, Katie had her art class. Thank you to everybody who came out for our kids' art class. It was really cool. You got to draw some really cool designs of Orly, our bat mascot, but also turn it into a 4-panel story, which was really cool. And then we got to go out to Relays Bradenton's Winter Wonderland downtown Bradenton last night, which is one of my favorite events of the year. It's always so much fun to see thousands thousands and thousands of people come out and just get excited about the season. And the Realize Bradenton team, and a special shout out to our friend Christy over there at Realize Bradenton, just does such an extraordinary job making that event just more and more magical every year, from the snow to the games to all of the vendors with crafts. To this year we had performances not only from orchestras and choirs, but we also had they had dance recitals going on and things at the same time. It's such a huge thing, such a fun event that's completely free for the whole town. And so just again, a big shout out for Realize Bradenton for putting that on. If you want to have a smaller version of that, because maybe you missed that and you want to celebrate the holidays, don't forget that December 20th we actually have our Old Manatee Candlelight Stroll, which is from 5 to 9 p.m. here in the Old Manatee neighborhood. You can walk between all of the businesses and get different snacks and activities to do with the whole family. Santa and Mrs. Claus will be here at Bat City that night for one last minute visit before the big guys got all the work to do. And so that's December 20th. Put that on your calendar. But there's some more stuff coming up this week. This Wednesday is Manga Meetup at 6 p.m. This Thursday at 8 p.m. is Ladies and Non-Binary Nerd Night. This Saturday at 10 o'clock in the morning from 10 to 2 we'll be over at the Village Patio in the Village of the Arts for their Jingle Jangle celebration kids art market. So if you have a kid who you think would like to show off their art or would like to sell their art, please contact either us or Shelly from the Village Patio to let us know that you'd like to be a part of that. There's still time to be in that. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we just want to support our friends over at the Village Patio as they kick off the holiday season as well. Lots of crazy, awesome things going on in December. And again, like I said, they're all kind of right there on top of each other because we want to get it all in for you so you don't have to miss anything this month that you love coming to at Bat City. And speaking of not missing things, I hope that you didn't miss this week's comics, but if you did, I'm going to run down all of them for you from all those indie and small press creators so you can catch up and see what it is that you might want to grab from this week. So we're going to kick it off with Something is Killing the Children. This is issue number 45 from Boom Studios and James Tynion. This series just continues to build and build on the lore, and in this arc, we've been getting kind of a prologue, like a prequel kind of thing situation. If you don't know Something is Killing the Children, you're definitely going to be hearing these words a lot, as a TV show and an animated series are both coming your way soon. But this is the story of a woman named Erica Slaughter, who is a part of a secret society that hunts down monsters that kill children. Only children can see them, and so except for the initiated adults who are in this organization who had some kind of instance happen to them as children. We've been following Erica's journey for most of the story, and in this we actually are going back to Erica's childhood and her time when she was an apprentice and she was helping her trainer who had some very serious drinking problems, is what we've seen in this arc. And Erica kind of has hidden the fact that she knows what she's doing so that she can stay an apprentice longer, so that she can help Jessica through the issues that she's going through, because she really doesn't want anything bad to happen. And in this arc, they are in a place that Jessica's been before and that the monster seems to have returned to. And something dangerous has happened in the past. Something even more dangerous is happening now. And what I like about this issue is we actually get to see some of Jessica's flashbacks as well as Erica's. And so we're layering those experiences on top of each other and just kind of showing that these monsters kind of also bring their own generational curse to the found family that is the House of Slaughter. Really great story, and cannot wait to see where this spills even further into. We've got G.I. Joe issue 15 from Image, Skybound, and our Inner John universe. This is all about the worlds of G.I. Joe and Transformers crossing paths. If you haven't been reading over the last 15 issues here and 26 issues in the Transformer world, we've seen that Transformers have landed here on Earth, and it's kind of impacted a lot. You know, we usually see the military immediately go after the Transformers, and they have done just that. But the military is, of course, the G.I. Joe unit that we've seen in the G.I. Joe world, and they are dealing with the fact that Cobra Commander and Deathstroke have gotten their hands on some Energon and are trying to use it to really make things get bad for humanity. And in this this arc that we're going through right now, this Dreadnought War, we are seeing Duke out on his own trying to figure out how to stop Cobra Commander from getting some more energon, but they have been met by a group of vigilantes who kind of Mad Max their way through the desert, and they are being attacked by them. They've actually been taken captive together. Meanwhile, Deathstroke is determined to become the ruler of the bad guys and replace Cobra Commander, and he has set up his own meetings to kind of sell off the Cobra Commander experience to other people and get his, get that arms dealing going on too with the Energon. And so we are in a really bad spot, especially if your name is Duke or Cobra Commander right now. There's some really bad things happening. Don't know if either of them are gonna come out the same on the other side, but it's interesting to see them working together right now. We've got Cruel Universe issue 5. That's volume 2, issue 5. This should not be way up here. I just counted it in all of the Cruel Universes that have been going on number wise. But this is a anthology, a sci-fi horror anthology from Oni Press and the EC line, and in it there are 3 different stories. The first one is all about a man that has always had good luck because of the ship that he has. He's flying in an older ship. He's never, he named the ship Hope Endures because he's like, nothing has been able to stop me as long as I have my ship. And he is crash landed on a planet, and now it's just him and his ship, and they kind of have to come to terms with the fact that they're not going to make it, and what does that look like for the two of them. And then we have another story in here called Byproduct, which is all about a very rich man who is very cold businessman, and he doesn't like the fact that he's been given a terminal diagnosis, and he goes to some scientists and asks for some experimental studies. And no matter how many times you try to cheat death, there's only so many things you can do. And then our last story is about a scientist who actually feels like she needs more time and more hands in order to be able to solve the research that she's trying to master. And in order to do that, she builds these pocket universes for herself to be in, and each one of them she's working on a different piece of the research, and as she needs that piece, she goes back and destroys that person from their universe so that she can figure out take their research. But of course, comeuppance comes, as it always does in these stories. We've got Robot and Girl issue 10, going back to my numerical order, from Keen Spots. If you haven't read Robot and Girl, this is just such a fun story. This is all about a futuristic society with a young girl who is, on her own and dealing with the fact that, this world is just not, it's kind of cruel. It also has a robot in it named Ara who is on his last leg. It's time for him to decommission, and on the way to decommission himself, he is becomes best friends with this girl, and now they have been surviving this world together. And she is a part of the way you get paid in this society is by playing video games, and Ara tries to help her for helping him and gets her in all kinds of mess because he overdoes it on his goodness on the video games. And now they are running from the mob. They are hiding from people coming to claim. They are also hiding from the government. And in this issue, we make a new friend who could be a bad guy, could be a good guy. It's definitely running from some things of their own, and is going to help our people find what they need to get to the next safe point in their journey. We've got Rook Exodus issue 9 from Image and our Ghost Machine imprint. This is definitely one of those, if you are a Big 2 reader and you're looking for the indie book for you, this is the Rook Exodus is definitely, and all the Ghost Machine titles are such a good bridge to go from that into the indie world. And this being Jeff Johns and Jason Fablik on this book, you definitely can see how it has that feel. If you don't know the Rook story, this is about a world where we destroyed the planet Earth, and big corporations kind of came in and said, hey, we've got a way to solve this problem. We're going to take you to this new Earth that we've created. But we're humans, and we're terrible at keeping our stuff in good condition, and we've now destroyed that world too. And the rich people once again get on ships and leave this world, and they've left behind all of the people who were in charge of controlling the animals, and all the people who were also unable to afford to get off this thing. And so we are following these people who are called wardens as they try to figure out a way to save the planet that they're on. And these wardens have the ability to put on helmets and talk to animals and kind of control that and become one with them. And so we are following Rook, who is the one who speaks to the crows, and they have come to a place where they feel like they can save the generator that kind of runs all of the stuff on this planet. Unfortunately for them, there is a giant mess of spiders in between them and that. And we learn in this issue that not all humans are in charge as much as they think they are. And as many times as we think we can figure out ways to control nature, nature will always fight back. And nature hits harder. And you definitely see that in this issue for sure, leaving us in some very dangerous places. We've got Thundercats Lost, issue 9 from Dynamite. This is our side quest in Thundercats. It's kind of giving us the story before the story that is, that is the main Thundercats story. And in this story, we've learned that the Thundercats didn't just leave Thundara after it was destroyed, but that they have been leaving Thundara and coming to Third Earth numerous times before. And this group that we are following, Thundercats Lost, believes that they are the first group. But what they are learning is that is not the case as well, and that maybe the Thundercats also aren't the good guys, and that maybe they haven't always been the champions of the universe that they think they have been. And we see that a lot in this, as one of our characters has been kidnapped by some people who we are led to believe are the ultimate bad guys on this planet at the time, only to find out that their experiences are very different, and some truths will out as the Thundercats continue to find themselves in Thundercats Lost. We've got DuckTales issue 9, also from Dynamite and their Disney Comics imprint. This is just a fun way to have some really great DuckTales episodes in comic format, and which is great because this is a time where, DuckTales recently came back out, and so kids and adults alike have a love for this series. And in this issue, Uncle Scrooge takes Huey, Dewey, and Louie to go camping to earn some new merit badges. Launchpad is, of course, with them. But they decide that maybe they're going to take one more person with them. And so they end up taking Doofus. And they are upset about the fact that because everything he does, he's clumsy and klutzy. Well, since Webbigail is also there, they decide that the best thing Doofus can do is be Webbigail's babysitter so that they both stay safe. But of course, Uncle Scrooge, Huey, Dewey, Louie, and Launchpad get themselves into a mess of trouble that Uncle Scrooge is not prepared to handle, nor are the boys. And so the only person that, of course, can save them is Webbigail, because she's the best. But she needs somebody to let her have that permission to do that. And so she and Doofus go out on their own to try to find the team and figure out how to save the family before it's too late. And we just get a really cute story of not underestimating the people who are in your lives, because they may be better at things. Just because you're small doesn't mean you can't do big things. We've got Adventure Time, issue 8 from Oni Press. If you are a fan of Adventure Time, this is going to be such a fun one for you. It is also a great way for people who haven't necessarily seen Adventure Time to kind of learn a little bit about the characters. This is an ongoing adventure, so it's not episodic to look like just little episodes of Adventure Time. It is one ongoing story in here. And what has been going on is that our team, Jake and Finn, have been trying to find this ultimate book that can kind of help Computer Princess save the world, destroy the world, whatever she accidentally does this time. And in the process of doing that, they have gotten into a fight and have decided that they are mad at each other and they aren't working together anymore. And so now Jake is trapped in a secret world kind of ghost form because he is put on the Ice King's crown, and it has led him to some danger. Finn has been trapped by the monster he has been fighting in this same world, and they found themselves together in this ghost world, and they have to figure out how to get back to their bodies. They also have to figure out how to come to terms with the fact that, maybe they're both wrong, and maybe they both can learn to grow and go on those adventures together in a better way. And so we get some epic dance parties and battles to save the day in that issue as we move towards the next story arc. We've got Black Ritual, the Book of Nyx, issue 7 from Image Comics and our Spawn universe. This is the end of this arc, but it's definitely not the end of seeing these Black Ritual books. There's even a teaser for the next one. I have to say this is definitely my favorite part of the Spawn universe in that it is witchcraft and all kinds of coolness. And so this follows Nyx, who has been removed from the Coven, and New York City, who has come back because there is something dark and dangerous going on with some witches and some disappearances, and she is the only one who can do anything to save them. In this issue, she has to fight against the ultimate, like, priestess of the witches, and when she is like, I need to power up, we get to see the she-spawn inside reveal itself and come out and just go into epic battle with this. This is setting up more story for sure to come. Nyx kind of doesn't even necessarily end the battle, but or at least doesn't end the war, but maybe we see an end to this battle in this issue. But there is more coming to us for sure from Nyx and our she-spawn as this world continues to unfold. We are building towards something with all these Spawn universe titles, and we're starting to see bits and pieces of what that might be in each of the books. But if you don't know the Spawn world, doesn't matter. Nyx is definitely one of those that you can pick up, and you don't have to actually know anything about Spawn to jump into. Never Wars, issue 7 from AMP Comics. If you follow the show, you know that I love this book, and I'm loving all the things that AMP Comics is putting out. This is such a fun adventure. This is all about a war that has stretched through all of our fantasy lands, and so Neverland, Oz, and Wonderland are all at odds with each other because one evil being, the Jabberwocky, has kind of manipulated the minds and hearts of everybody. And in this issue, we've kind of gotten to a point where we're hitting that big battle, and we are facing off. We are seeing the Queen of Hearts, who is actually not the one that you know from the story, but somebody who has taken that mantle, going straight against the Ozians and the Neverlanders and everybody. And the only person who can stop her is a young boy named Georgie, and Georgie is doing his best to gather an army of Wonderlanders who can actually fight against her. But he realizes that what we've been seeing in this story, and what we've always seen in all of this battle, is that the Jabberwocky is given his strength by them fighting, and so Georgie has to come up with other ways to fight. Meanwhile, at the same time, our Pan character needs to figure out how to get his team together and how to find some allies for the Neverlanders. And of course, the Ozians need their 10 army to be strong enough, but things are not looking good for any of them. And where is this going to lead is dark and dangerous. And seriously, you, like, every time this book ends, you're like, what? How did they do that? Why did we get here? How did we go down this road? And what is happening right now? And you feel that way at the end of every single issue. And then you have a whole month to dwell on the sadness and the like ideas of where this could go. And AMP is definitely crushing the fact that that is how comics should work. And we're seeing that really, really well done in that story. We've got Speed Racer issue 5 from Mad Cave. It's such a fun book, and it's such a good, like, family story all at the same time. But if you haven't read Speed Racer, or maybe you don't know Speed Racer at all, he is in fact a race car driver. But Speed Racer is all about this young boy who his older brother was a race car driver, and he was in an accident, and after that accident, he was, you know, people were led to believe he was dead, and the dad was like, you know what, we're not a race family anymore. The dad stopped training his sons. He didn't want Speed to become a racer. Well, Speed kind of got into it anyway on the side, on the streets, and in that process, that led to an attack on his dad, and his dad has been in the hospital. And so Speed has been working to get his way into the races and win the money he needs to get his dad the transplant that will save his life. And in this issue, Speed has been in the middle of a big race, the race he needs the most to win. And his brakes were cut at the end of the last issue, leaving us with that danger of what's going to happen. And so this is the issue showcasing Speed trying to deal with that. Like, you're in a major race where you're going extremely fast, and all of these obstacles are happening, and people can attack your car with anything, and you don't have any brakes. But one thing Speed does have is he has an ally in Racer X, the mysterious racer that nobody knows who it is except we do, because we have Mark Russell's Racer X on the side. And so we get to see that connection and that point of those two actually racing together. It's such a great story. And really, if you're reading Speed Racer and you're not reading Racer X, do yourself a favor and grab both of them. They go so well hand in hand together. You can just read one, but why would you when there's two great stories sitting there in one great universe? We've got the end of Wild Animals, issue 5, also from Mad Cave. This was such a good wrap-up to a story that I had no idea how you were going to wrap it up in one issue, and they nailed it. This is all about a kid in his early 20s who has just lost his mom and feels like that's the time to get the revenge on the world of people who caused him to not have a dad his whole life. And so he is telling us this story as he goes to hunt down the men who were also police officers with his father, who went dirty as far as he knows and actually attacked his dad and caused the death of his father when he was really young, which led him and his mom to go into hiding. Well, now that he's here and he finds himself actually dealing with these battles and fighting against these men one by one, trying to expose them for what they are, he is learning that there is definitely two sides to every story, and there is something much more involved than what he ever knew. As he comes to terms with all of that and has those experiences, we actually get to see what do you do when you've unleashed the beast and you don't know how to put it back in. And this has been such a great story for that, because he just really has to learn and grow through one of the hardest experiences of his life. And the way that Ed Brisson wraps it up and the way this story is handled is so good. Grab all 5 issues immediately and read that whole story for every single twist and turn it takes. We've got Godzilla issue 5 from IDW. This is part of the Keisei era, and actually the launch of the Keisei era for all of the Godzilla fandom and universe. And what that has brought us is basically the understanding that the energy that feeds Godzilla, that powers him, is this Keisei energy. And what we found in this modern universe is that people can tap into that. And so we are seeing a story in this where we have the G-Force, who are the team of people who are fighting to stop Godzilla and to keep people safe, but also to do the research on kaiju and figure out what it is. That's their job. And as they are following Godzilla through tunnels, because they figured out that he can travel under America and get into the cities that are not on coastlines, they learn that there is actually a darkness and that Godzilla isn't the only thing feeding off of this energy. And they are now face to face with this dark entity of a kaiju that is I am determined to destroy your world, and the only person / thing that can stop me is Godzilla, but you're against him. And so are you going to actually be able to let Godzilla live long enough to fight me? And then once again, we kind of learn a lot of big things in this issue and see that there's so much more to this story than that has actually been let on just yet. And so this is opening up a big universe with this issue. And what's cool is this issue is actually the one where we do see that Keisei era books actually referenced as this is one universe. So we have Godzilla Dead Zone also happening, and we do kind of see them talk about those things a little bit in this issue. That's hey, there's a point for all of these Godzilla books to be on the shelf right now, and they do all connect, and there's going to be an interesting way that that universe kind of unfolds. I am going to take another drink of this delicious wine before we get into the next round of books. So this is Pontificis, and it is a GSM, and I want to know if it's opened up because it says it has lots of spicy fruits, so it smells a little bit. Oh yeah, I can taste the spicy fruits a lot more now. But you still get
berry flavor.
You do. I'm still getting a lot of the plum too, on that, which is nice. Yeah, that's a good wine though. Definitely delicious. And I'm so nervous too. Like, that's why I don't wear white shirts on the show. I'm like, what if I slash my wine? But I love this shirt. This is from Nakama Press, since we are talking about so much Mad Cave today. Nakama Press is the manga imprint at Mad Cave. They sent me this awesome shirt. I love it so much. And I love the books that they're putting out through their manga imprint. So if you haven't checked out Nakama Press, you definitely should. Oh my gosh, God tier. Press Jackson for adults. All right, we've got Heat Seeker Exposed, issue 4 from Titan Comics, and this is wrapping up this story in the Gun Honey universe for us. You don't have to have read any other Gun Honey. You can just jump in on these. But if you're just looking for a like adult, sexy, spicy action story, this one is definitely going to be a great one for you. And I always have to like look before I show the pages in this, because it is an adult book for sure. But if you haven't jumped into this particular story, our Gun Honey is a spy who is not necessarily like the good guy. She's got a lot of clients that she helps make disappear and that she helps things happen for. And in the process of doing that, in this series, somebody has actually found out who she is and is trying to expose that, really just for like podcast views. And they're trying so hard to be able to get her to prove that she's a bad guy, and also to kind of expose her to all of her other clients and to the people who are against her clients, so that they can get all of the recognition for doing that. And they have finally come face to face in a showdown in this one, and she's going to need a little help. And so we get to see who does a spy type person call in. Well, she's got a really hot girlfriend who is also a mercenary, so that works really well for her. She's got an ex-girlfriend who's also kind of in charge of like moving, like an arms dealer, and so that's actually helpful. And she's got a bunch of other like allies and friends that are going to help her out through this, and we get to see honestly just a bunch of women kicking butt in this issue and see them like telling, kind of bringing it all together. But the thing that I like about these books is that there is this really nice level of heart in there at the same time. Like there's so much like a second layer, third layers of this story that just show you like the relationships are what drives it. And you get to laugh, you get your action, you get your jokes, you get all your fun, sexy storytelling and art, but you also just get like this really like wholesome story in there as well. And so they're always fun. They're hard case stories, so if you like those like hard case detective kind of stories and spy stories that come in novel format, this is your comics version of them as well. Eat Your Young from Mad Cave. This is issue 4. This is a battle royale for a family. Basically, in this world, if there is essentially like a person who is an alpha, and the alpha is in charge of this family, and every kid that they sire within that family for their like millennia that they live is immortal until the time comes for the alpha to be challenged. And once the alpha is challenged, if the alpha does not win the fight and somebody else does, that person becomes the new alpha, but everybody else loses their immortality. And so that time has come for this family, and they think that they're going to kind of take over. There's so many of them that are like, I'm taking over for dad. And a lot of them are like, dude, like, let dad live. Let's just keep being immortal. Let's just keep living our lives the way it is. And there's too many, because there's like hundreds of kids that are just not going to have that. And so in this issue, in each issue, we've kind of seen different stories of the different kids and how they've worked throughout the years. This one follows 2 twins who definitely think that they have a chance of killing their father because they killed their own mother at one point. But they are the first ones to kind of really step up and go into that battle one-on-one. And we get to see, I guess, 2-on-1. We get to see what this would actually look like, and what these people are manipulating each other through, and how each of them are working together. And if there is only one more issue of this story, it is going to be a very violent, bloody battle royale for sure, because there is a lot of people who still have their hands in the cookie jar ready to act on this, and I can't wait to see how they wrap that up. We've got Dead Samurai issue 4 from Wake Entertainment. This is the story of a zombie apocalypse, essentially in the samurai, like feudal Japan kind of time period. And as we've been following this story, we have seen the emperor is killed by zombies, and his daughter, who would be the heir, has gone missing, and nobody really knows where she is except for the person that's helping her escape. Meanwhile, of course, the royal guard, which is run by the brother of the emperor, is like trying to find her, and we see them like dealing with some of the zombies and things of that nature. We also have another couple players in here, a young kid who has saved a small child from danger. But in this issue, we actually see our princess, our empress to be, I guess I should say, dealing with, like, she's got an extreme fever, which of course makes everybody nervous that she's going to be a zombie herself, but she sees the afterlife, and in it we learn a little bit more about what possibly is going on through some of her visions. But there's definitely some danger lurking, and we're learning bits and pieces more of like how far this is really spread, and we're starting to see a lot of people turning on each other and new allyships being made. And the danger is never going to really be the zombies. It's going to be the other people who are just, looking to gain control. We've got Blue Falcon and Dynamite number 4 from Dynamite. If you haven't read this yet, it is, of course, bringing to life one of those Hanna-Barbera cartoons with a little modern twist, and it's definitely giving us a lot of modern situations in here. But over the course of this series, Blue Falcon has been trying to take down some bad guys in his city, and some bad stuff happened to Dynamite, which led to him actually building him up into a robo-dog that can now talk and do computer work, and it's kind of like basically having like your own Alfred, but in dog form. And in the last issue, Blue Falcon was hurt, and it's been up to Dynamite to kind of protect him, as well as his ex-girlfriend, who is the doctor who's been caring for him. While he was in the control of them, his new possible girlfriend, who's also the villain, has come in and stolen some things from him that are very important and to sell on the like villain market. And so in this issue, we actually see Blue Falcon and Dynamite have to chase after her to the Amazon and go for that battle, and we're trying to build towards what's going to happen between all of these allies and villains as they all come together in the next issue. One of the things I love is that because Dynamite has so much knowledge and is a computer, Jimmy Palmiotti uses that as a great way to teach us about everything that goes on in the Amazon and how important the Amazon is to our environment, and how corporations are destroying that. And I love that he was able to add that little bit in there to show us just how much of the Amazon has been destroyed, and remind us that, like, and Blue Falcon, that like fighting the bad guy right in front of you doesn't necessarily save the world when there's so much more going on. And we also need to like do both. Like, he's like, hey, like Dynamite's like, hey, you have to fight the bad guys that you can, and there's lots of people working to save the Amazon, but like also don't forget, like, the Amazon needs to be saved at the same time. Speaking of saving the world, we've got the Phantom number 3 from Mad Cave. This has been a really great series, bringing the Phantom to life. If you were following along with like Flash Gordon Quarterly, Defenders of the Earth, now you've got another one of your Defenders with his own title in the Phantom. And in this, the Phantom is protecting the local village that he's always cared for. And a group of gun runners and people who are just obviously like really bad people have come to this village, and they are trying to take it over. And of course they believe that they're hiding jewels or some kind of natural resources that they want. And so they've taken the whole town hostage while they try to figure it out. The Phantom is trying to not only save the day, but he also knows that the chief is in bad health, and so he must save the medicine that the chief needs in order to keep him alive. And so this issue is actually him on the run trying to take down the people who are trying to get away with the medicine and the resources that they need. while we still see the people in the village holding their own. I do love it, though, because you get this great narration from the Phantom that just kind of reminds you that he is, like, the spirit, like, prowling the woods and all the things he's going to do. And what I love about this is it kind of has that, like, Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes feel, where he tells you about all the attacks he's going to do. And you get to kind of see, like, okay, this is how that would play out and what we might be able to do. And so it makes for really cool narration and storytelling as that battle unfolds. Little Nightmares, Descent to Nowhere, issue 3 from Titan Comics. I always say that, the third issue is your turning point for smaller arcs. And this is definitely one of those moments where we see that a lot and build up a really big story. So much of the story in Little Nightmares has been really, really light so far because it was kind of drawing you into this dark descent that they were taking. And now we get so much exposition and new story in this issue that really, really just builds so much into it. If you haven't been following, Little Nightmares is about a detective who is trying to figure out what's happening to children. And there's these children who seem to all go to this one hospital. And when they're in this hospital, they disappear, and sometimes and nobody knows what's happening. And so what I love about this book, though, is that we see both sides. We see these kids who are, going away, like going into this unit and never coming back. And we see what it actually looks like for them and where is this nightmare that they're involved in. But then we also are seeing this detective story. And in this issue, we learn that this detective has more experience with this nightmare world than we've ever known before, and that there's something deeper going on in there. But we also learn so much about where this hospital is and what's going on with these kids, and we start to actually piece pieces of the investigation together. And I cannot wait to see, like, what actually happens and how it all connects, because those worlds are getting smaller and smaller as they connect closer and closer together. And after being removed from a case and, of course, still working it, we're going to see what this detective finds on her own. Speaking of detectives doing all the work, Murder Podcast, issue 3 from Ignition Press. In this issue, if you don't know, Murder Podcast gets even more wild. Murder Podcast is a world where a podcast that people listen to causes them to go crazy and start killing people. And we are following a group of friends, one of which happens to be a homicide detective. We learn in this issue that she's just recently come back to homicide, and not by choice. And while being on this case, she is actually getting a front row seat to all of these murders. And so far, we, the readers, know it's a podcast that is actually triggering these people, but our characters in the story have no idea. And since this case is bothering this detective so much, her partner decided that she was going to steal some evidence, and they were going to take it to the rest of the friend group and maybe start doing their work to kind of figure out what was happening on their own. And so we get to see them kind of coming together and start to piece it together. Meanwhile, one of our girls who was actually attacked by somebody who'd gone crazy but did not die is actually having an experience of just really, like, nice dates, and things seem to be normal and everything is fine. But you know what? Back half of the book's going to tell us nothing's ever fine in this Murder Podcast world, and we're going to see bigger pieces. I told you issue 3 is the turn and of every series of that first arc, and we definitely are seeing that in this issue as we learn more once again than our characters know, as we kind of get a little bit more info on what is going on in the Murder Podcast world. Woo. Orphan and the Five Beasts. This is volume 2, Bath of Blood, issue 3 from Dark Horse. This is such a wild series because of how crazy the art is and just the lore that it's building. If you don't know Orphan and the Five Beasts, it is kind of a Ronin story of somebody who was orphaned and has had a master teach her how to fight all of the things she needs to fight so that she can take down the 5 beasts, these evil beings that have destroyed, her village as well as those of others. And in the last issue, we're kind of left on a cliffhanger towards this woman who was the wife of a doctor who was pregnant and seemed to be housing a demon. And in this issue, we actually get that story in its entirety. We get to see the woman who is the wife of the doctor, what her backstory is, where she came from, how she wanted a world of freedom, and how she ended up in love with the doctor and married to him, and what this settling down has done to her, and how this beast has gotten hold of her. And most of this issue is that backstory, and it kind of leads us up to the fact that, of course, we're going to have to fight a beast in order to do that. But I don't want to show you the back half because I don't want to expose all of the details of what's going on in that story. But it's really cool because this arc is just kind of this story. If you wanted to jump in and read it, you could kind of start right here and you'd piece together what happened in volume 1, because that's kind of just your training montage and the first beast. We're on beast 2. Actually, I think it's really beast 3, but either way, you can actually jump in even there. We've got Warwolf issue 2 from Mad Cave. What a wild story this is that we are seeing. This is all about a guy who feels like he's got nothing going for him, and he really doesn't, and he's working as a security guard at a place where nothing ever happens with like some other security guards. And one day, while they're sitting around doing absolutely nothing, because that's what they are doing and that's what they do every day, aliens invade, and he's like, oh man, we've got to take these aliens out, like that's what we're here for. They're invading, and they're invading through our workspace, so let's go. And so he kind of leads this charge to take out all these aliens, which causes the aliens to not get Earth. And so now he's become this war hero where everybody has turned him into all kinds of merchandise. He does all these interviews. He gets all of his fame. And we see a year in his life of experiencing just as much as he possibly can, riding the glory of being the one that stopped this alien invasion. Except now it's been a year. And it turns out that was a scouting party. And they had come in peace. But now the aliens are not coming in peace, because now they are back and they are angry and they have had a year to plan. And we are going to see exactly what that's going to entail, as he is forced to be a part of that world again as these aliens are back. And everything that happens in this book is everything I didn't think was going to happen in this book on every single page. Every time I'm like, oh yeah, this is going to be next. No, it's not. It's not what's next. And so there's so much. It's so off the wall. It's crazy. It's definitely something completely different from Steve Orlando. And so you've got to check it out. Doctor Who, The Prison Paradox, issue 2 from Titan Comics. If you are a fan of Doctor Who, this is, of course, a great title for you to pick up, because it is giving us more adventures with our current Doctor, or current-ish Doctor, while the show itself is on a break. And so this issue picks up where the last one left off. The Doctor is in a prison place, and he is trying to figure out exactly how to get out. And in it, he is working with a bunch of different alien creatures that he has found. And this issue follows one of the aliens is actually narrating it and talking about, I guess it's third person narration about this alien, but they're talking about how they really have never experienced friends, that in their culture, when you're born, you essentially eat all of your siblings, and the one that survives is the one that lives. And so they've never even had, or the one that like becomes the family person, I guess I should say. Anyway, they've never had any friends. They've never had any family. They've never seen another one of their species other than the siblings that they ate. And so they don't know what it's like to have this connection. And the Doctor, of course, being the one who connects all these people together, is trying to help them find a way to get them through, and get us all through this prison experience. And of course, as with all Doctor Who stories, there is a lot of heart and a big moment of just the Doctor teaching one of those great lessons. And so again, if you're fans of Doctor Who, you absolutely need to grab it. Death Dog issue 2 from Ahoy Comics. This is actually the wrap up of this. We don't see a lot of 2-part series, but it works so well as a little duology. This is about a futuristic world where we don't have dogs anymore. We only have these robo dogs, and because all dogs have kind of become robotic, they are pretty much all just used for policing, like a police state kind of situation. And in the first issue, a young boy is stealing from a place, and they try to send loss prevention dogs after him. And in the process of doing that, one of the dogs reverts back to the life that it had, the mind that from the dog that's mind it got. And so it becomes this lovable, like your like pet dog all of a sudden, and no longer a killer. And it decides that its owner is the boy, and he's going to protect the boy at all costs. And so now in this issue, the cops and the cop dogs are coming after this boy because he has stolen, as far as they're concerned, this loss prevention dog, and they are trying to get him back. And the boy and his dog go through a lot of adventures and a lot of growth and some really, really heartfelt moments that just, remind you of the value of our furry friends and the fact that you can find a friend anywhere. And it's absolutely a beautiful story in 2 issues. All right, we've got some new number 1s for you. We are seeing the return of Inferno Girl Red from the Massive Universe. This is Volume 2, Book 1. This is in the world of Radiant Black, but you do not have to know anything about Radiant Black to read Inferno Girl story. However, you do need to read Volume 1 of Inferno Girl Red to read this, because it does connect exactly where we left off. And so if you don't know, it does actually give you a really good rundown of what that situation is. And Inferno Girl Red is a young girl who has just received these superpowers. She is at a school where it turns out her principal is the former Inferno Girl Red. And so she actually has a mentor built in automatically. In first volume, there was a massive attack and she lost a lot of family and friends in the thing. They also ended up in this kind of alternate dimension, and the school kind of was sent to like this different place. And outside of the force field that is protecting the school is a lot of very, very big dangers. And of course, the only girl who can do anything about it is our Inferno Girl Red with her Dragon Blast powers. But lots of other things happened in Volume 1 that has led us to some new villains who are definitely trying to not only take down the city, but also to disparage Inferno Girl so that nobody trusts her and nobody leans into what goodness she is trying to bring in her way of saving them. It's so much. This is a double-sized issue. There's so much in here. It really builds a massively big story in this one issue. I definitely recommend, if you are looking for an entryway into the Massive Verse and the Radiant Black world, I think Inferno Girl Red is one of the best ways to do that if you're not ready to take on Radiant Black yet, because Volume 1 of this was only 3 issues, and this is also going to be only 3 issues, so it's going to give you a lot. But I love that we get our like secret lair and our friends and our mentor and the big mission and our bad guys and everything. Like, this is like world building 101 in one issue of a comic, and they nailed it on every page. All right, so we're gonna do some trips to the North Pole. I think I have them all run, but we'll put them all together. We're gonna go Christmas for a second here. So we're gonna start with Startling Tales of Santa Claus. This is a one-shot from Image for this year. I love this because this is all of your classic stories of all the darker sides of Christmas, and I'm not going to go through every single one, but I do love it's all one writer, and so they all connect, and we just get to see everything from like Santa getting called to a little girl to actually help her because her dad has fallen asleep out in the woods and nobody can find, like nobody can wake him up, and they're like, oh my gosh, like he's not dead, but he's in this essentially like a coma. But we've learned about some Christmas spirits that are dark and deadly that are actually taking the souls of adults and turning them into mice and keeping them and trying to ferry them over to the other side. We get to see the history of all of those characters and what that means. We switch art styles between each one, and so we do get to see the story of Krampus and how Krampus comes to be and why he is collecting the evil people of the world and the children and things like that. We actually get to see the battle that led him to be a part of that. We get to see the wood log. We get to see Krampus attacking some people who chose to try to use him for their own gain and try to make him into part of their propaganda. And we get to see just so many incredible stories. And if you're like, I've never learned all of the history of the Christmas spirits and all the different cultures around the world, this is such a great book to do that, because I think we probably learn about 15 to 20 different Christmas legends in this story, and yet they all tie back to where we started at the beginning, and you get to see Santa and the different spirits all kind of connect together. Really great. Again, all that horror monster side of Christmas, putting it all together. Really cool anthology. We also have Santa coming to town in Terminator. This is part of our Terminator universe that Declan Shalvey's been building with Dynamite. And this is just a nice little Christmas one-shot, I believe. I don't know if we're going to get more. Maybe. Who knows? But I believe it's just a one-shot in the world. But this is, we've got a group of people who are in the post-Judgment Day world trying to fight their way through. And while they're going on this mission, one of the kids is like, hey, can you tell us what it was like when Christmas existed? I love every year on this day when you tell us the stories. And so our leader of the group is telling this young kid all about Christmas and what it was like. Meanwhile, a Terminator arrives, and he is, matches his clothes to his size based off of what he sees, and ends up in a Santa outfit. And so we've got evil Terminator Santa Claus fighting against this group of people. And it's just exactly what you would imagine a Santa Claus story in the Terminator universe would be like. And it's fantastic. Like, I don't even know what to say. It's just exactly what it is. And if I tell you anything, because it is a one shot, you're going to do it. But this is I wish I could say Paulina's last name. Paulina Ganeshu. She just, you can see the love of the Terminator universe and mixing it into the Christmas spirit so well in this book. I love it. We've got our 2025 version of Dread the Halls from Image and the Syzygy imprint. And you always get those wicked cool Maria the Wolf designs on these covers. This is also a back and forth of stories. Two different writers. This is Jordan Hart and Chris Rael, our Syzygy, two of our Syzygy leaders, giving us a bunch of different stories. I love the first story so much. It is a play on the Hallmark girl goes to a small town, big city woman goes to a small town and falls in love with the man there. But we get a lot more than we bargained for in this one, and I absolutely love it, and that's all I'm going to say. And then we, like I said, we switch back and forth between writers and artists, and we get a bunch of other stories. We get a story about a Christmas Carol kind of story, except our Scrooge does not want to learn anything. We kind of see how hard it would be to bring the three spirits of Christmas into the world now, with how angry and dark so many people can be. And then we get a story about a wood elf, and a little elf that comes for Christmas and doesn't just sit on the shelf the way that he probably should, and just what can that darker side of that be. We get another story in here. I love these because they're so much longer, about Santa trying to bring Christmas to Mars and the Martians, and what that would look like, and how aliens and Santa just don't necessarily mix. And then I believe we get one more story. Yeah. That is all about a man with an advent calendar and his obsession that he starts to develop with that, and what that leads to, which is a very ECS kind of story for that one, which is really cool. But if you are just looking for, again, some dark, twisted horror stories for Christmas, that's definitely a good one. And if you want some happy stories for Christmas, of course, we've got our Archie Christmas Spectacular from Archie Comics to give you all of the fun and exciting. This has, of course, a new story as well as some old ones in here.
Is that the cover?
That is the cover.
Weird. It's like they used the splash page for the cover.
They used the splash page for the cover. But we get a story of the North Pole High School Christmas dance is coming, and two girls want to take Archie as their dates. Of course, it's not Betty and Veronica, because this is in the North Pole, but somehow everybody ends up you know, getting twisted up in the story, and we kind of see how that works out. And then we have a story where Kardec the Mystic sends us back in time to see Betty and Veronica's experience as kids when they were, you know, realized that their friendship was more important than any stupid ginger boy named Archie. And then, and it was really cute, we see another story where Alexandra Cabot from Josie and the Pussycats tries to control the mistletoe so that she can get the kiss that she wants, and all of the crazy stuff that happens when she tries to use a little bit of magic to do it. And then I love this story that we get where Jughead, everybody goes to Jughead to ask what they should get people for Christmas. And Jughead, you know, he's only got certain things on his mind, and it's quite hilarious to see what happens for everybody's Christmas gifts. And then there's a couple more. There's a story about ice skating and some fun in there. But if you are just looking for, of course, your Archie fun, exciting, joyful time to spend for Christmas, this is, and all the hijinks that come with being in Riverdale on a holiday, this is definitely the one to grab. We've got Dark Souls, Mother of Mourning, issue 1 from Titan Comics. This is the next installment in the Dark Souls world. You don't have to have read previous ones to jump into this. You also don't have to have read the novels or played the video games to read these. It's just standalone stories. And this is following us as the world that we're in right now in this part of the story is struggling to stay alive. They've had this goddess that's essentially provided all of the strength and light to this world, and now that the fire is going out, the goddess is dying, and they must figure out a way to save her. And every soldier that they've sent out to find this thing that they need to save her has not returned, and they've come to our new soldier, and they say that they're going to send him, and he's like, for once, don't send somebody on their own. I'm taking all of my friends with me, and we are going to start an adventure party, and we're going to go to do just that. And so we get to see the beginning of that adventure and what it might look like and where it leads them. And we're definitely going to see what all of the darkness that they fell into was for all the people before them. Instead of taking different paths, they've decided to follow the one they're on, and we'll see where it goes. We've got Cyberarchy issue 1 from Mad Cave. This is another one of those, like, kind of feels a little bit like an anthology of stories, but it's another one where the robots are kind of in charge of things. We actually learn that in this world, humans and all organic life has died off, and now only the robots are around. And we see a young robot is birthed, and he is told that there is only 24 hours left before this facility that they all live on is destroyed by the dying sun that's outside. And he's like, then why did y'all bring me to life? Like, why would you do this? And he's like, because we need to show you the world and everything that's in it. And so we see that these robots who have lived on their own for so long have basically created the same problems that humanity has. They've got people starving. They've got people unable to get the services they need. They've created war, and they're very, very proud of themselves for it, and we get to see how they use it constantly. And we just get to see this robot's journey through learning what this world is like and how it would be, and if that was the case. And I love that this could lead to so much more, but it also could stand alone as like one single issue because of the like great way that it ends. If you didn't pick this one up, like I'm not gonna lie, like at the very beginning of this issue, I was like, I don't know where this is going. I don't really know like what's going to happen with this. And then by the end, I was like, oh my God, did not see this being this story. And I love what they did with it. We've got Criminal. This is a number one-shot kind of thing from Criminals to get you caught up with the story before the new show comes out for it. If you don't know the story of Criminal, the Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips world, you don't really have to, because that's the whole point of this. It's a different adventure to kind of tell you who the characters are, again, because they are trying to get you. This series came out so long ago that with a show coming out, they want to give people a chance to do it. And so our criminal has been given a job to do. He, to cover a debt that he is owed, he must go and rob this this rich man who is supposed to be at a casino, going, getting all the money. And they're like, hey, go rob him. Once he wins, just be in his room, steal all the money, and bring it back to us. Well, while he's waiting, he decides that he's going to do some drugs, except his drugs are laced with some other things that he wasn't prepared for. And so he loses it entirely, and all of his experience just becomes completely off the wall. He's like ordering room service. He's like getting random women showing up. He has no idea what life he is leading in this story, and he's not really sure if any of it's even real. And what he gets himself caught up in definitely makes for a really great story. This is so well done. Again, if you don't know Criminal and you want to get to see a little taste of it before you jump into reading the whole series, or before you maybe watch the show, I don't want to show you that. That's a spoiler. Before you get involved in any of that, you really this is a great way to see if this is going to be for you. Like, what would it be like if there was this spy assassin kind of story that was part noir, part comedy, and what would you do? And before I close it, it's all on newsprint. So you can smell the beautifulness of the book as you read it, which is fantastic. So yeah, check it out. A great way, like I said, to get to know the world of Criminal. We've got Afterburn, number 1 from Red 5. This is Bad Blood, and because we are going to talk about with trade paperbacks that there's been some Afterburn before. Basically, this is a world where we're in an apocalypse, and we're in this zombie apocalypse, and we're dealing with different things. And this story follows 2 brothers who have always been criminals. They've always been like thieves and going after different things, and they are like, okay, yeah, we do all this different stuff. Well, they get a job that's going to send them into like the most dangerous of places, the place where the most people are mutated from this zombie kind of experience that's happened. And they're like, this is a terrible idea, we're not going to do it. And they're like, we'll give you $50 million. And they're like, cool, we'll totally do it. And so they have to go and attempt to save this girl from this world that is a complete world of chaos. And we get to see just kind of the start of it and just their arrival into this world. We don't actually get too far into it, and then that like the next couple of issues are going to have some major huge things going on. This is also going to be a movie soon. And I don't know what part of the Afterburn story that is going to be, but this is going to be a movie that will actually have Batista and Samuel L. Jackson in it. So it says it's coming soon to theaters soon on the back of the book. So if you're looking to kind of have an idea of what that world is about and see it a little bit before it happens, this is the way to do it. Grab this and we'll talk about it. But there are some trades for some previous stories in the Afterburn world that are already out as well. Terry Moore, who does Strangers in Paradise, has a one-shot from that world out called Trigger Warning right now. You do not have to be familiar with the Strangers in Paradise world to jump into this. You'll just kind of get a fun story. When this was on Pizza with Pizza this week, I did say it right. I was like, did I stumble these words? But this is all about a woman and her brother who are in the Old West. They come into they wander into this town right in the middle of a court case, and she is just happens to be in the room when the brother, or not the brother, the guy that's on trial is found guilty, and he's like, well, I'm not going down. And since she's one of the fastest guns in the West, she decides she's going to help these people out. And in the process of doing so, she gets tied up into the community's drama and mess very quickly. We also get to see her come into contact with a woman that she thinks is the most beautiful person she's ever seen. And the start of a story that's going to blow up a little bit there and blossom into something. But I love it because we do have that revenge of the people who are like, you shot our friend, we're here to fight you. And she's like, bring it on. And they're like, ooh, we didn't think you would say yes, kind of thing. So it's just a fun little, historical, or not historical, a fun little Western romance / comedy kind of story in the Strangers in Paradise world. Definitely check it out. Again, don't have to have any prior knowledge, but just get a fun story. We've got Tales of the Shadow Man. This is Ghost of the Bayou Part 1 from Valiant Alien Books. If you follow the show, you've known that Shadow Man has already been one of the Valiant characters that has come back. And so the Tales of the Shadow Man series is basically going to give us different stories and different cases that Shadow Man has to experience. And so when we wrap the one in the last arc, now we are jumping to Ghost of the Bayou, which is a new one. And this is showing us a woman who has gone to the mayor of her town and is like, I need you to do something about the fact that there's this monster in the bayou and it is ripping people apart and it's eating them. And it's like, the mayor's like, there's nothing I can do. You're going to have to do something about it. Don't you have magic? Aren't you Aloa? Can't you do something? And she's like, I gave up that path a long time ago. And he's like, well, you're going to have to call the Shadow Man. You're going to have to do something about it, kind of situation. And so she does. She reaches out to Shadow Man and she's like, I have to do something. I have to sacrifice myself if that's what it takes, because I have messed up and I have seen these creatures attacking my people and have done nothing. And Shadow Man, like, come and help me fight this battle. And so we do get to see what that looks like. Shadow Man is still telling us he doesn't remember anything. We're still kind of seeing like that overarching story of him trying to figure out like who he is and what he has to do with this world and where it all comes from. And so we are seeing those pieces still dropping into place as he's taking on these quests on, but we are going to see a new mission from Shadow Man in this story as he continues to figure out who the Ghost of the Bayou is and what is happening. All right, I'm going to take another drink before we jump into Picks of the Week. We are drinking Pontificis. And it is delicious. It's real spicy now. Like those spicy foods are kicking. But not like Tempranillo spicy. It's still jammy and still smooth, but like it has like that top layer of spice that like fills your mouth. It's more like, instead of spicy, like Tempranillos are like peppery, like that kind of spice. It's like Christmas spice, like that, like cinnamony, like, and it's not cinnamon flavored, but like the way cinnamon doesn't like sting you, but like tingles in a good way. I don't know how to describe that sensation because I don't know what spice it actually is, but it's more in that world than like a pepper spice to me.
I think in a blind tasting, I would have said it was a Tempranillo.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, it definitely, like, especially if it had opened up like this. Like, in that first drinks, I wouldn't have said Tempranillo, but, like, right now, I could see why you'd be like, yeah.
It's close.
It's very close.
Very good.
Yeah. All right, we've got, I'm calling the picks of this week, like girls getting revenge, a comic story, because that is what all of the ones that I picked seem to be this week. And so we are going to start it off with issue 2 of volume 2 of Kill All Immortals from Dark Horse. Really, it's just, I love this series and I love what this arc is doing. If you didn't read volume 1, it is a story about what you believe to be the Norse gods, and it's this immortal family that does include like Leif Erikson, Eric the Red, the Freya, Thor kind of thing, and they have this immortal family, and Freya is the good one who wants to just live her life. She wants to be immortal. She wants her family to stop doing these terrible things. And so she wants to do philanthropy. She wants to do all this good. And so in the first volume, it's her kind of going after her family and trying to build that up in that way. Well, in this arc, her family has now been, like, some people have come to attack her family, and we have found out that not every, like, there's more families that are immortal, and, like, essentially every culture's gods that we've heard of are kind of just these immortal families. And now they're in danger because her family is no longer immortal, and so they're going to but yet they're the ones who are going to have to go after all of these other families. And we get so much lore in this issue of what all that means and what everything is and what's going to happen. And we kind of we learn how can somebody kill an immortal person. We learn what the other families are. We learn where they come from. We build these relationships with different people, and we just get to see that, like, there's so much going on in this world. And that, we still also see the whole concept of, if you are fighting for something like you know, this one of the sons is like, Freya, we need to let dad be in charge because he knows how to fight people. And she's like, yeah, but then we would just have another barbarian in charge. Like, we're just going to continuously put like barbarians and darkness at the forefront of everything if we just keep letting people like that lead. We have to find a new way to lead our world and our people if we're going to do this. And it's so good. And the twists and turns that Zach Kaplan builds into this book are so awesome. Seriously, Zach has built a great universe that I love that he went back and is playing in it again because it is so good. And I hope that he continues to build on this and that we see more arcs come even after this one because the story is definitely just getting started. But on a story that's ending, The Voice Said Kill, issue 4. This is the end of this story, and holy cow, like, what a story and what a crazy thing that they build in this. And if you did not read it, it's from Image, but it's Cy Spurrier writing and Vanessa Del Rey on art. And Vanessa's art works so perfectly for this story because when issue 1 came out, we know we're following a woman who is a pregnant woman who is a park ranger, and everybody that was at like the company dinner got super sick and got food poisoning, and so they're all out for the day, and now she's the only one who's there. And all kinds of stuff has gone wrong. Basically, though, there's these people who are trying to steal some drugs and traffic them through the park, through this state park, and she's having to deal with that. They've kidnapped her as their guide. She's been following along on this adventure, and the only source that she has to kind of keep her safe is the voice that she's hearing through her headset that's like, hey, I've got you, like, I've got your back, like, do these things, go this way. And she's had some twists and turns where she's had to figure out what's going on in some new ways. And so in this issue, she has decided that she is going to take, after an injury to the team of poachers and drug dealers, I guess the drug dealers specifically, she takes them to the woman who is the matriarch of this crime family that is, moving some moonshine through. And she's like, oh, this is how this is going to work. I'm going to put these two forces against each other and we're going to see what happens. And we see what happens, and it is wild and it is crazy and everything gets all chaotic, and Vanessa nails it with the art in doing that. And all of the twists that Cy Spurrier wrote into this book are so good, and you know them from early on. Like, we've already, like, nothing in here in this issue like is the twist, and yet, like, I don't want to spoil it if you didn't read the other 3 issues at this point, because there's just these little things in there that have made the story like, wow, there's so many more things going on there. But if you didn't read this, it's 4 issues. It's a crime thriller. It is, each one is almost a double-sized issue, and it's so good. And what a great character. She's just such a good character to be your main character. Like, she is, like, yeah, she's probably an unreliable narrator, but she also is aware of that, and she's trying not to be an unreliable narrator. There's so many layers in that book. Absolutely fantastic. And then lastly, we've got the return of Briar with Night's Terror. This is number 1. This is from Boom Studios and Christopher Cantwell. This is our 3rd volume of Briar. And so if you don't know, I will say that Katie read this and it was her first jump into Briar, and she was like, the recap that they did on the first 4 pages of this story was so good. I feel like I read all of the volumes. So you could possibly jump in right here. But if you want a recap, this is the story of Briar Rose, aka Sleeping Beauty. And what would happen if she had never been woken up by the prince? Like, what if he came and decided not to wake her up and then just took over her kingdom instead? And now it's been that 100 years. Briar has woken up and the world has gone to crap because the guys that ran it in her stead did a terrible job. And now there's all kinds of problems going on, and she's kind of blamed for all of them. Meanwhile, she's also trying to figure out how to actually get revenge on her godmother, who we know as Maleficent, but who is not called that in this story because that name is Disney. And so she's trying to figure out how to get her revenge on that godmother and how to actually like stop these night terrors that she's experiencing and the darkness that's flying through the world. And in this volume, they finally have like a chance to have just like what if we like left it all behind and we had a happy story and everything was completely different? But that's just not how fairy tales go, and it's definitely not how comic books go, and everything that could go wrong and all the changes and world crashing, shattering moments that you could have all happen in this one issue, which is a great setup to a new arc, and they absolutely nail it. And so if you haven't read it yet, of course, volumes 1 and 2 are in trade paperback. We actually have most of the issues for some of them too, so you can jump in, but you should definitely, if you are a fan of Disney stories and you like those fairy tale retellings, anything like that, you would definitely love Briar for sure. All right, we're going to talk about everything else that's in stock as fast as we can. First up, we've got Vampirella, which is issue 7, which is also issue 682. We've got Rick and Morty, The End, number 1. We are actually seeing the end of Rick and Morty's time, like, in at least this comic form for now, and this is actually like an end series. Resident Evil just wrapped up. It's the Book of Changes, its newest arc. This is issue 4. Punisher Red Band got a second print of its second issue. Marvel Black, White, Blood and Guts issue 3 came out. Gotham Academy's newest volume, issue 3 came out. Cheetah and Cheshire Robbed the Justice League, issue 5. We've got some Age of Revelation with Amazing X-Men 3, Lord Kenny Sabretooth, issue 3. Binary issue 3 as well. I'm going to talk about that last because I'm super excited. Venom issue 252, Ultimate X-Men issue 22, Miles Morales hit issue 41, Spider-Man Noir got to issue 3 this week. I know everybody's so excited he's got his own series again. Spider-Girl issue 7, Poison Ivy is back with issue 39. I love that this is issue 39 of 6. I love that it was so good that we're on issue 39 now. Way to go, G. Willow Wilson. Way to go. Hulk is smashing everything in issue 1 of this new series. Fantastic Four, issue 6 of the newest arc of Fantastic Four. DC KO Knife Fight issue 2 is out this week, as well as one of our battle rounds of Superman versus Captain Atom. I had so many people this week that were like, there's no way Captain Atom has a chance, and I'm just saying, there's always a way. Birds of Prey issue 28, Matt Fraction's Batman hit issue 4 this week. Absolute Green Lantern issue 9, Uncle Scrooge's new series from Fantagraphics hit issue 3, and I'm so excited. I had to say this one for last and hold it all on its own because Wiccan got his own series this week with Wiccan Witches Road #1 dropping. I'm so excited. Cannot wait to read this, and I so many of you picked it up this week, so I'm so glad to see Wiccan getting all the love for one of my little kids. I love them so much. Wanda would be proud of you, Billy. You're doing great. All right, we've got a bunch of trade paperbacks and graphic novels in stock this week as well. We've got this is the X-Men 97 pop-up book. I'm not going to pop them all up because they're currently, like, you've got little figures and stuff that you can play with. This is super cool. Like, this is a great Christmas gift for somebody in your life who really likes X-Men or liked the X-Men 97 show. We've got The Private Eye from Brian K. Vaughan. I love this because this book is in long-form format like this. It's so cool. You don't see a lot of comics in this panel, like, sideways kind of landscapey version. We've got the Dragons of Paris. I always say it backwards because I see the Paris part first. And this is a beautiful story that has mermaids, dragons, and all kinds of fun in Notre Dame in Paris, and a romance that blooms that is, you know, an age-old evil kind of fighting. Beautiful story. One of Katie Corner picks of the week. We've got Slice of Life, which is a comic montage, which is really cool because I actually thought that the spine was broken on this, but it's actually because you're supposed to be able to flatten the book entirely, which is really cool way to do it. And so you can actually, no matter, because it's supposed to be this like montage thing, no matter how far into the book you get, you can actually completely flatten it with the way the spine is built, which is kind of cool. We've got Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe One Last Time. This is that entire series that just came out, issues 1 through 5. This is already out. Here I told you that there were some previous Afterburn titles. We've got the original and Crossfire in stock from Red 5. So if you're trying to get prepared for the movie, I don't know what all is going to be a part of it. But if you want to know all about that solar flare that caused this burn zone and these zombies and all of the adventure that is going to be in the movie, you're going to want to grab these. We have the, oh my god, what 30th? 35th? What is it, Matt? 35th anniversary of the original 1990s Ninja Turtles movie. I guess I could have just read the back of the book. This is the movie adaptation of the Ninja Turtles movie, and this is the 35th anniversary reprint of that. We've got one of Matt's favorite books of the year, Buried Long, Long Ago, in trade paperback. Finally, if you didn't catch that when the issues were coming out, now is your chance to catch it in trade paperback form and talk to Matt all about it. He will gush with you forever. Sister Imperator is out in hardcover from Dark Horse. If you have a fan of the band Ghost in your life and you need a Christmas present for them, this is a great one. If you have a fan of great comics about women getting their revenge in your life, this is a great gift for them too. I loved that series so much. It is so cool. And then lastly, I Was a Fashion School Serial Killer. This is the latest installment of the Doug Wagner universe of serial killers that have hobbies outside of serial killing. Much like we had vinyl, we had plastic, we had plush, and now we have I Was a Fashion School Serial Killer. This is all about a girl who is a student at fashion school, but also a serial killer and uses the skin and bones of her victims to make all of the stuff. This is one of my favorite books this year. It was so good. You definitely need to check it out. That's all the comics we have for you. Don't forget, like I said, we are full of tons of events in December this week. You've got a bunch of them. Most importantly, don't forget Ladies and Non-Binary Nerd Night this Thursday at 8. I believe, like I said, Manga Meetup is Wednesday at 6. We will be out at the Village Patio from 10 to 2. At least myself and Katie will be out at the Village Patio from 10 to 2 on Saturday for the Jingle Jangle Kids Art Market. If you've got kiddos who are loving art, bring them out. Come out for that day. And then don't forget, December 20th from 5 to 9, Stanza will be here with Mrs. Claus for all of the Christmas and holiday fun, and we will be having our Old Manty holiday candlelight stroll that evening with lots of fun throughout the community. It's going to be a blast. As always, every Wednesday is New Comic Book Day, so hopefully we will see you in the shop to pick up all your new books. But if we don't see you, then we'll see you next weekend. And as always, happy reading, everyone. Bye.